Hey folks, Farm Tour Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. So, we got a lot of moving done today, as is the norm, right? But a little bit extra moving, because we got Dose separated off from her little gilt piglet, boop, which I need to get better video of. Hopefully that even actually showed you. Yeah, she's over there underneath by the barrel. She's very disgruntled. Her mom is very disgruntled. Her mom's over there. We started to move, so we got the breeders moved, and we'll take you down there in a sec. But I got the breeders moved down to 4, and the feeders moved up to 7. And then we tried looping Dose around, and the first mud hole she hit, obviously, right? Like, she's been stuck in this little concrete yard for like 8 weeks. Like, of course, she wanted a nice mud bath. It's hot out too. It's like hot. It's hot. So we were supposed to get some rain. Like, you can kind of see those storm clouds in the distance. On my way back from donating plasma, it was pouring like 5 miles from our farm. So fingers crossed it hits us, but that was like 2 hours ago, and we haven't got anything yet. And it was moving this way, but it looks like it's just kind of splitting around us. So, which, you know, that is a very similar or a common story around here. It seems like it just kind of dodges around our hilltop. Yeah, she's very disgruntled. You can't hear her. But yeah, so as soon as she hit a mud puddle, but I thought, okay, this is perfect. Everyone's moving, so they'll have a pond access. The breeders will. So I won't have to worry about anybody getting too hot and too stressed out like we had with Benedict last year. Yeah, and it's going to rain, so like everybody be cool. If I really worry about it, I can open up and let them have access to, which they already do, so I need to close that gate. I forgot because we moved the dogs over. So, yeah, they have 2 whole paddocks, so 1 acre for Dose to separate herself as they get acclimated once Dose gets to them. So, currently, as you see, well, I was showing Dose right there. So, Dose is, we gave the dogs access to paddock 1, 2, 3, and 6. So we've got the gate set up in an angle again at the pond, but it's a little different. And like I said, we'll walk down there and we'll show you that. So she's just with the dogs right now, moving back and forth. And once she finally decides that she's willing to follow a bucket for food past mud puddles, because she followed me all the way there and then was like, ooh, mud. And like I said, I'm not surprised. So I'm not going like, I can't believe she stopped. Of course she stopped. But as soon as she's got that out of her system and is willing to follow a bucket, she'll go and join them. But hoping to do that later this evening if she's worked it out of her system by then, when it's a little cooler. But yeah, let's pop y'all around and show you some other stuff. Dottie there is doing good. She's just pacing the fence with Dose. Mulberry's still doing great. She's obviously not. She's so disgruntled. I'd like to have her out of there soon. I just don't really want to put her with the other feeders yet, in case she's gonna go home to someone. Oh, here come all of Oatmeal's babies. Just a hassle and a gaggle. They're ridiculously easy to tell apart from Dottie's babies, obviously, because all of Dottie's are red with some black spots, and none of Oatmeal's are that color. She has a light ginger one, but that's it. But her 7 are still doing good. 4 are in the house napping. I don't know if you guys can see them back there. There you go. 4 are napping. That one is totally zonked. Oh my gosh, he's so zonked. You can't really see with that light. That is so zonked. They were up running around just a minute ago. There we go. Oh no. Oh no, I disturbed you. They've been playing in the puddle, so they're very muddy. Let's kick that back to that. Yeah, but her area is still, I'm always amazed at this paddock. It has always got greenery, and honestly, this paddock rarely ever gets more than a week or 2 worth of rest before it seems for some reason I have to bring a pig in here. So, for those of you that watched last week's, here's your update on this. So it made it 3.5 weeks. It did this like yesterday, like overnight. I don't know if it's just because it's finally gotten so hot and dry, but the duct tape did not work. These branches are still green, and if you scratch them, They're still green. So maybe it just couldn't handle the leaf load and will wind up coming back. But either way, it has started to send out new shoots. So those will replace it. Everything else is doing good. And now a lot of this isn't grass, right? We do see all these grass stems, so there's grass in there, but they chew that down. Lots of common ragweed, buttercup, dock, tons of stuff. Not all stuff we necessarily want, but not stuff I'd really throw a big fit about either. So, all right, let's keep moving on. I think we're gonna dodge the boys again this week because there's still just no change with them at all. It just seems silly to take you all the way over there and tell you they're still here, like because they're not doing anything yet. Like Copa still looks good. The little tubby boy still looks good. They're going to mid-June leave to go with the breeders out in the field. So then that yard will get to rest the rest of the summer. Red should leave next week, and I'm hoping, I meant to call today and I just got distracted. So I will be calling tomorrow first thing to schedule the appointment for, fingers crossed, next Monday, Tuesday for these 5. Normally I can get in within 1 to 2 weeks for them. I just realized like how close I was actually getting to all my trips. Did not realize that was like 3 weeks out. So also by going out with the other breeders, I mean he's going out with the ones that are staying here. When the others leave, they'll go out with the ones that are staying. So they'll go out with Donut and Ginger because they should already be long bred by that point. Like they should already be bred now. Payday is proven, so I'm not worried about it, but like they should thoroughly be bred. So yeah, then they'll go out with them. Then that'll put me down to 2 herds beyond whatever little piglets we have left. That's it. Right, the feeder herd, the breeder herd, and then whatever piglets, but whatever piglets are still here, they will very shortly come out and join, because it'll just be these smaller 100-ish pound pigs. So then they'll join them, and then that'll be that. Let's flip you around. So, like I said, they're up here in paddock 7. So this is our one that got real beat up. And we're filling their wallow right now. Just finished filling their barrel. And they've already knocked over this little willow. Poor willow. Wasn't much left of it, just the one branch. Thankfully, that one's still doing all right. Yeah. How you doing, Cupcake? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Cupcake. Okay. So, this is their paddock. Oh, look at that. I haven't used these in years. So they found one of those for me. We used to use, all of our fencing was the electric fencing for cross fencing. And each gate had like 4 of these. And that was the gate, which you had to unclick 4 of them. And then they were wired together as a solid panel. It kind of worked. But, yeah, the normal fence parts, everybody got through. That's why we have the solid fence now. So, you can see this has all come back pretty well. This circle right here is where the bale was. That circle right there where their feed pans are right now is where the bale was. And you can see how tall that grass is. Like there you go, taller than the bigger pigs. So, and then they were already really jumping down. There's tons of lamb's quarter in here. And they were munching you see the tops eaten off. They're really digging all the lamb's quarter that came up. So some pluses and minuses with them having kind of wrecked this paddock over the winter. But still tons of good grass. The sawtooths that we put in here are, spin you on that, still doing pretty great. I put the load of biochar we made when we were doing that last pig roast. I just dumped in the middle. This is the area that's normally flooded. So we put it here so that it'll wash into all that and help catch any excess effluent and maybe make it easier for tires to drive across this winter. Any big logs that didn't burn, we put along that leaky weir, which I am really worried about this curly willow. This one came back as coppice. So there's like 20 stems coming off and it's 5 foot tall now, 4.5 foot tall at least. And they're going to eat that. I know they will. Nice, delicate, soft stems. They will destroy that. The paddock that the breeders just came from, totally fine. You can see that is really no worse than it was. And man, that's beautiful. I love that. We get the best sunsets here. It's not even sunset yet. The sun is way up there. I don't know why, but that is like the best thing about this place is the gorgeous sunsets. But you can see tons of grass back there all the way back. They now are over here where you guys have seen many, many times. So they currently have one whole acre because that red gate back there is open. And I'll need to close that. But it might be nice to let them have that for a couple of days and let everybody chill out when dose gets added in. But currently these gates are set like this so that the dogs have complete access from the road down through those 3 paddocks into this paddock and up onto the hillside, which this is where all the feeder pigs just came from, right? So that's all 10 of the feeder pigs came from here. You can see they pulled a bunch of branches down to their shelter. Quite unnecessary. We'd had a leaky weir built on this hillside here behind these persimmons. And all the pigs seem it's great to just pick those sticks up and carry them around. So there's no longer a leaky weir there. But you can see that still looks stellar. All the way there, and it goes all the way back out and around the pond. So I am not worried at all with their impact right now, even with as dry as it is. And fingers crossed, we have a chance of rain like every day this week. So hopefully it happens. You can see their wallow here. This is where a water trough, you can see the stone right there. Water comes out of the pond and fills that. And yeah, there we go. You see all the way down the back there. Totes good. And then here's where they are now. Here's that last bale of hay that we had. Oh, cool. I need another one of these. All those persimmons, we were pulling them up. Or not persimmons, pawpaws. Pawpaws. Yeah, so this is even starting to come up. Some little stuff through it, which that's just common ragweed. But there's grass too, coming up from seeds from that, but then it got so dry. So, here's what it is. And then this Osage orange has been getting its butt beat, so it's actually sprouting it pretty heavy from the base. So we'll see what that does. This, up till this year, had been a big brush pile. So not surprised that, it's bare. This was up until just those few weeks ago. Remember, we built a couple leaky weirs out of it. This is one of the leaky weirs we built from it. And then I kept just moving stuff up here and building some. But you can see these are those 4 leaky weirs, and you can barely see them. Like, we've kind of got to be like right on them to see them. The grass really is growing up. Grass and weeds, broadleaves is a better term, are just growing right up to it. So when it does rain, this stuff is getting kind of pushed up to it. And that's doing an awesome job of catching and slowing down that water. And this is what my hope was, right? That grass is just going to grow up through these boards to create a finer mesh to sieve that all out. So, well, I think that's it, guys. Not a very complicated week this week beyond just moving everyone around. That's another thing. I did decide that, although I think I put that in the edit for last week's Farm Tour Tuesday, I opted to just go ahead and, so the vet is scheduled to come out tomorrow to anesthetize Payday and Oatmeal. It's just not worth the stress, I think, to get them real stressed and worked up, or even just drunk and stressed and worked up, and then ear tag them and then send them off to somebody else's place and be like, well, they're freaked out by people, now it's your problem, right? That just feels wrong. So I would rather just pay the money out of my own pocket to have him come back out again, anesthetize them, and we'll get them ear tagged. And I guess the one other thing would be still have not sold these last 3. So there are still 3 whole and half, and it is currently in one of our local pig groups a big point of contention that I raise my pig or sell my pigs for $5.25 a pound hanging weight, which is insane, because then I had to break down the numbers and be like, I'm making less than minimum wage if I do that for my labor. So whatever. This is why I'm downsizing. I am tired of trying to push pigs last minute to people and make less than minimum wage doing it when I can just raise food for us and our family. We've been doing pigs here for 7 years. Been farming for well over a decade now. It's just, this is always seems to be the way it is. It's always a push to sell product, and we dump our heart and soul into it. So if people aren't willing to spend the money on what real food costs and give us not even a living wage, that's what gets me, right? Not even asking for a living wage, just asking for slightly below minimum wage. That's our food system. If people wanted to, people want to ask, why aren't younger generations getting into ag? Why is the average age of a farmer, 80 plus years or 67 years, whatever it is now? It keeps shifting. Why is that the case? Well, the case is because why would we get into something when, honestly, I could go get a job working at McDonald's right now and make more money, right? And the biggest kicker, right, too, is like, you could go get a job that has PTO, get a job that gets weekends and holidays off, and make more money doing it. So I could work in AC, get PTO. I'm not going to, right? Like, I'm not going to go back into town and get another job. I'm doing fine with my handyman stuff, like that functions. And so, like, that is a better setup for me right now. But even that, like, why would I not devote more time to that, which makes me drastically more an hour, has a way more flexible schedule. I don't have to do it every day. I can just do it when I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, cool, I'll schedule your job for such and such time. Why would I do that rather than bust my butt in all weather to try to produce enough to sell to people that's going to make me minimum wage? If you want to know why millennials and younger aren't getting into ag, that's why. And when we are, I'm noticing the more and more that I follow people and see people, they're not doing, stuff to sell, or if they do, they're doing it for a year or two and they get out. I can't list the number of people that I have followed over the years that, they try to go to farmers markets, or they try to do this and they try to make a living, and then they do exactly what we're doing now. They're backing it out and they're just homesteading. They're producing food for them because we got into this kind of stuff because, we love it. We love producing amazing food for ourselves and our family and knowing what we're eating. But man, if you can't, there's no reason to produce extra for what feels more and more like an ungrateful populace. And I know that's not the case with you guys watching this, because obviously you guys are the type of people who are like me, who care about where their food comes from, care about the lives we give our livestock. So I think that we're just seeing more and more people that are interested in homesteading, and not more and more people that are interested in providing food for the broader community, right? Our small communities around us, it's always the case. Yeah, we always want to share that surplus that we just innately produce, because your garden always produces more than you need. One sow produces more pork than we need. So there's always that. But it's not... The pigs are messing with the boards for the weirs that aren't out, thankfully. I'm sure they'll mess with the weirs later. But yeah, that seems to be the case that I'm seeing more and more, is more people our age and older and younger that are aiming that direction. They're heading just towards doing a farmstead or a homestead and not producing that. Or if they do, they do like we did and now I am being shook. I'm on the best scratching post ever. Hi, could you stop that? Trying to show you the culprit. I moved too much. Yeah, so rant over. I'm sorry but I think that's important that people realize that's why, because I get that a lot. Like, the comment that started the whole thing was, you're crazy if you think that people are going to pay that, or you're crazy if you think that pork is worth that. And for the amount we dump in, I did wind up getting a couple comments towards the end that were like, that's absolutely what that's worth. It sounds like he's undercharging, but the fact that there are still that many people out there, and I want to point this out, right? This is the big deal. This is the big point of this, okay? Is that even though, I know I said rant over, even though there are those couple of people that are like, yeah, no, it's absolutely worth that, they're still for sale. Okay? Like, you guys have followed this long enough. You've watched me do this 2 or 3 times now, right? And in the end, what happens? I have freezers full of pork. People can say all they want. Oh, I really am the best scratching post. It's a little friendly gal. And cupcake. People can say all they want that, like, oh yeah, no, your stuff is totally worth that. Your stuff is the best stuff ever. And I recognize there's only so much of our pork that people could eat. Like, you just can't eat that much pork. But in the end, if it doesn't sell, and it's not like we sell that much of it. We've been selling about 20 or so pigs a year. Everyone, what do you want? Yeah. Anywho, oh my gosh. Seriously? Do you just need scratches? Do you just need scratches? If it doesn't sell, I just have to hold on to it and fill my freezers with it and lose money, right? Like, it's costing, gal. This stuff costs me, I think when I'd figured it out between weigh and feed and potential loss of piglet sales to keep feeders, which of course we got to keep gilts anyways, but I could just find another person I really trust. That's like $400 something per pig, right? So this is close to, for the 5 pigs, $2,500 that this cost me before processing fees that it's going to cost me to do this. I can't keep losing money like that for not selling pork. Because what it is, it's taking the profit from selling piglets to pay for the loss of not being able to sell pork. So, and we did farmers markets, right? Like, we tried that. That did not work. So I'm not at like saying this because I really hope for a magic pill to make it work. I really am just saying that, like, again, here's why. Here's why I'm getting out of selling pork like this to a broader audience, and why I'm going to just doing homestead scale stuff from here on out. So, well, all right. If you hung through, that was like 8.5+ minutes of rant on just this end piece that I can see the timer running. So, thank you. I really appreciate the watch hours. And I really appreciate you, like, trying to figure out and understand where I'm coming on this. I hope that, if anything, it helps you guys either plan accordingly and be like, okay, this is a big trouble spot for somebody else, or go, hey, maybe we don't try that to start with and just continue to roll a little slower than what we did. And I mean, 7 years slow, right? So, like, I don't know how much slower you can go than 7 years, but it is what it is, I guess. Thank you guys so much for watching our channel, for following along on what has essentially just kind of become a vlog. I do hope to get out more educational stuff. I hope you guys appreciate all the little shorts that I try to make sure I kick out. We are actually really close to being, we don't get watch hours for the shorts, but the shorts do gain us a lot of subs. So we're like 950 something subscribers out of 1,000 that we need to hit. So that's really cool. Watch hours were at like 2,000 something 80. So we're not a whole lot past there. I think it's like 2,480 or something. So we're still like 1,500 something off from hitting that requirement. So I don't think we'll hit it for a while, because I need to keep putting out more of these videos, or 1 or 2 of these videos go viral. Not gonna happen. I'm not that cool. But it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for participating. And I really hope you guys get something educational out of this, or that was worth your time. Even if it was just watching me pan the camera like this and look at pigs. So, thank you to our Patreon supporters, Raymond and Ashley Hunter. Your guys' support is super appreciated. And if you guys want to join us, that would be stellar. I would love to be able to have I love my conversations with Raymond. They are absolutely awesome, and I always learn something, and I hope he gets something out of it every time. But I really would love to share some of that with other people, because they're great conversations, and I would really love to build a community around that. But even if it's just us, and I still appreciate them. So thank you to the rest of you that make it to the end of our videos and let us get that full watch hours. And when you make it to the end of the videos, or at least most of the way through, that lets YouTube know that people got something out of this. So then they push it on to more people and put it on that suggested page. So You guys have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday or on all the little shorts that you get between now and then.